If I asked you to assign a mathematical value to your own soul right now, what number would you pick? You'd probably say one, right?
Right, yeah.
I mean, you are one person, one entity, like a singular being. It makes complete intuitive sense.
It does. It makes total intuitive sense, but the really fascinating source material we're unpacking today completely upends that assumption.
Oh, completely.
Because the text argues that your soul, and actually the entire physical galaxy you live in, is not a 1. It is mathematically a 1.5.
Which, I mean, that sounds completely bizarre at first.
Yeah, it really does.
But that is exactly why today's deep dive is going to, like, completely shatter how you view reality. So we have this highly detailed presentation in front of us called Puranas Prakriti.
Right.
And what this source does is translate ancient Hindu cosmology into this deeply rigorous mathematical framework.
So you aren't just looking at ancient myths here, you know?
Exactly. You are looking at the Puranas as this sort of cosmic spiritual jigsaw puzzle. Yeah. But unlike a normal puzzle that forms a single flat picture, this puzzle actually snaps together in shifting states of 0.5, 1, 1.5, 2, 3, 6, 9, and 18.
Which is a huge claim.
It is. And Nikola Tesla is actually going to help us prove it a bit later on.
Yeah, I love that part.
Uh-huh.
It is a phenomenal way to conceptualize the universe. The source material basically outlines how all of these numerical states are built entirely around the concept of Prakriti.
Right, which roughly translates to nature, right?
Yeah.
Or like the material matrix of the universe.
Yes, exactly. But, to understand the math of your existence, you first have to understand the initial creation sequence exactly as the text describes it.
Okay, so paint that picture for the listener. How does this mathematical universe actually, like, begin?
So according to the source, the sequence starts with the deity Vishnu in a state of rest. And from Vishnu's navel, a lotus generates.
Right.
Now, this lotus isn't just, a physical flower. It is described as his Maya, which is his grand cosmic illusion.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And from this lotus emerges the creator deity, Brahma. Finding himself on this infinite flower, Brahma performs this really intense penance. And Vishnu, pleased by this focus, inspires Brahma to create.
But he doesn't just create a single universe, right?
No, not at all. He creates a distinct, complete universe within every single microscopic petal of that infinite lotus.
A literal multiverse blooming on a cosmic flower. I mean, that is just a stunning visual.
It's beautiful.
But, a beautiful image doesn't really explain the engineering. If you really want to understand the blueprints of this multiverse, you have to look at the foundational code.
Right, the math.
Yeah, let's start with that initial claim. Explain to me how a soul ends up being a decimal point. Like, how do we get this cosmic equation of 0 to 1.5?
Okay, so the math starts when the 3 primary deities, so that's Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, unify their focus to initiate creation.
Okay.
Together they form what is called Purush. You can think of Purush as the pure, active, masculine cosmic consciousness.
Right.
Because this consciousness is absolute and whole, the framework assigns Purush the undeniable mathematical value of 1.
Okay, so the spark of consciousness is 1. I follow that. But what about Prakriti, the feminine creative force, nature itself?
So the text points out a really crucial nuance about her value. Prakriti, in her absolute purest state, doesn't possess a distinct, independent form of her own.
Oh, interesting.
Right, and because she isn't an independent, standalone entity, she cannot be given the value of 1.
Wait, but if she doesn't have an independent form, why wouldn't her value just be 0? Like, if it's formless, isn't it just nothing?
You would think so, yeah. But the
Yeah.
text explicitly forbids that. It argues she cannot be a 0 because she undeniably exists. She is the very canvas that creation is painted on.
Right, so without her, the 1 has nowhere to manifest.
Exactly. And because Prakriti is inextricably intertwined with Vishnu-like, enveloped in his existence without being fully separate, the framework assigns her the value of 0.5.
Okay, let me try an analogy here because I want to make sure, that you and I and the listener are really visualizing this interaction correctly.
Sure, go for it.
Is Purush the one, essentially like the raw, uncompiled code of a video game? Like the underlying logic is perfect, it's an absolute one, but you can't actually experience it on its own.
Yes, exactly.
And then Prakriti, the 0.5, is like the graphics engine, the physics, the lighting, the textures. On its own, the engine doesn't produce a game, it's just potential.
Right, it needs the code.
Right. But when you combine them, when one of the source code merges with the 0.5 of the graphics engine, you get a 1.5, which is the actual playable, vibrant video game reality, the Atma. Does that track with the source?
That is a brilliant way to frame it.
Yeah.
The code and the engine must combine to create an experiential reality. 1 plus 0.5 gives Atma the soul the value of 1.5.
Wow.
But the text reveals a truly mind-bending detail about this 1.5 state. When you hear the word Atma, you probably immediately think of the human body.
Yeah, I picture like a tiny soul sitting inside my chest.
Right, but the source scales this concept up to an unfathomable degree. Atma isn't just inside humans.
Wait, are you saying the universe itself has a soul?
Infinitely bigger than that. The text explains that galaxies themselves are formed by a massive union of these exact same forces.
You're kidding.
No, specifically, the source states galaxies are formed by the combination of Paramatma, which is a state where Vishnu is dominant, Parameshwar, where Shiva is dominant, and Jivatma, where Brahma is dominant. Because these three foundational forces combine at a macro level, the entire physical universe operates as a living Atma.
That is just wild.
Yeah, the galaxies, the cosmos, they are all functioning on that exact same 1.5 baseline as the soul inside a human being.
Looking up at the night sky and realizing a galaxy is just like a macro version of the soul inside you, I mean, that completely shifts your perspective.
It really does.
But it also raises a massive logical problem.
Oh, what's the problem?
Well, a base code of 1.5 gives us a soul or a giant unified galaxy. But a galaxy is essentially a massive singular blob of swirling energy, right?
Broadly speaking, yes.
When you look out your window right now, you don't see a unified blob of energy. You see distinct trees, distinct cars, highly individualized people. How does a single 1.5 base code fracture into the billions of distinct, separate, complex forms we actually experience every day?
See, that is the exact question the text anticipates.
Oh, really?
Yeah, to understand how the universe diversifies, you have to look at the mysterious geometric progression of 3, 6, and 9.
Ah, which are numbers that should instantly grab the attention of anyone familiar with the history of physics.
Exactly.
But before we touch on the physics, explain the math of the universe diversifying. How do we jump from a 1.5 soul to a 3?
It happens during the actual formation of those galaxies. As the cosmos takes shape, something called Dev Tattva, which translates to the divine element, appears within the canvas of Prakriti. And as it appears, it immediately splits into two fundamental opposing poles. The text calls these Ved and Viprit Ved, essentially meaning Ved and its exact opposite.
So like duality.
Right, because Prakriti now contains these two distinct contrasting poles of reality, her mathematical value shifts from 0.5 to 2.
So the canvas itself introduces duality, like hot and cold, light and dark.
Exactly that principle. And once you have these new numerical values, the three the combined deities we mentioned earlier, the one representing a singular opposite pole, and the two representing both combined poles, the math maps out four completely distinct states of reality.
Okay, you're losing me slightly with the multiplication here. Let's walk through these four states slowly, because this is where the actual architecture of reality gets built, right?
Right.
So the text lists the first state as Nirgun Nirakar.
Yes, Nirgun translates to attributeless, and Nirakar translates to formless. Think of this as the hidden, unmanifested baseline of reality, the void. Because all active elements of Purush are entirely hidden within the Atma at this stage, the mathematical formula is 0 Jivatma plus 0 Paramatma plus 0 Parameshwar.
Giving you a perfect 0.
Exactly. The resulting value is 0.
It's like the blank screen before the video game boots up.
That's a great way to put it.
That makes sense. Then reality thickens into the second state, which is Sagun Nirakar. The source translates this to having attributes, but still being formless.
Right.
And it calculates this by taking the 3, representing the Jivatma consciousness, and multiplying it by 1, representing the singular Viprit Vid pole. So 3 times 1 equals 3.
Correct.
But physically, what does multiplying a soul by a pole actually mean?
So think of multiplication in this context, not as just adding numbers together, but as dimensional folding.
Dimensional folding.
Yeah. You are taking the 3 foundational aspects of cosmic consciousness, and you are filtering them through a single lens, one pole of nature.
Oh, I see.
The result is a reality that has distinct qualities and attributes, like gravity or energy, but still hasn't coalesced into a physical, touchable form.
Okay, that clarifies it. Filtering consciousness through a pole of nature gives it rules but not shape.
Yes.
Which leads perfectly into the third state, Sagun Sakar, a state with both attributes and physical form.
Exactly. And here the math expands. You take that 3 of the Jivatma consciousness and you filter it multiply it by the two opposing poles of Prakriti.
So 3 times 2 gives you 6.
Precisely. This is the physical matter you can actually touch.
Wow, okay.
And then there is the final, fourth state, Nirgun Sakar. This one is highly paradoxical.
Why paradoxical?
Well, it is attributeless, meaning it lacks inherent qualities, but it does possess a physical form. The text calculates this by adding the 3 macrocosmic aspects together. So 3 Jivatma plus 3 Paramatma plus 3 Parameshwar.
And 3 plus 3 plus 3 equals 9.
There you go.
So if you step back and look at the scaffolding of this entire system, the resulting numbers driving creation are 3, 6, and 9.
They are.
Now, the source material explicitly highlights an incredibly famous quote here to put this ancient math into a modern perspective. In a 1931 interview, the legendary inventor and physicist Nikola Tesla told a reporter, "If you only knew the magnificence of 3, 6, and 9, then you would have a key to the universe."
It's an amazing quote.
Yeah.
And the connection the text draws here is astounding. It points out how this ancient Purana framework, developed thousands of years ago through spiritual meditation, mirrors the exact foundational numbers that one of the most brilliant scientific minds in modern history obsessed over.
Yeah.
The mathematics of reality in the Puranas, the 3, 6, and 9, is framed as Tesla's literal key to the universe.
Okay, hold on. I need to push back on this for a second because as much as I love a good Tesla connection, we have to ask the critical question. Are the authors of this presentation just taking a cool, widely circulated Tesla quote and awkwardly slapping it onto an ancient myth to make it sound credible?
That's a fair question.
Or is this pointing to a universal mathematical truth? Are we supposed to believe the ancient sages sensed a structural pattern of reality spiritually, and Tesla calculated that exact same blueprint scientifically, completely independent of one another?
That is the pivotal question for you as a listener to weigh.
Yeah.
When vastly diverse systems of human understanding, one deeply mystical, one rigorously empirical, converge on the exact same numerical geometry, it strongly suggests that these numbers are not arbitrary cultural inventions.
Right.
They are load-bearing pillars of how existence is physically constructed.
Load-bearing pillars. The 3, 6, and 9 represent the literal structure of space and reality.
Yes.
But, for you and me, living our lives down here on the ground, reality isn't just about the space we occupy.
No, it's not.
We experience existence heavily through time. And according to the sources, the clock that actually governs our eras, our moods, and our phases is built on a completely different number, the number 18.
Exactly. To understand this 18-year cosmic clock, the text first takes a detour to debunk a massive misconception about mythology.
Are you talking about the fixed traits of the gods?
I am.
Because if you read basic summaries of Hindu mythology, you are generally told that the deities have fixed, immovable personalities based on the 3 gunas, or qualities of nature.
It's the standard understanding, yeah.
Right, people are taught that Vishnu is strictly sattva, meaning pure preservation and goodness. Brahma is strictly Raj, representing passion and fiery creation. And Shiva is strictly Tam, representing destruction and chaos. It's a very neat, tidy categorization.
It's neat, but according to this presentation, it is entirely false.
Oh, wow.
The text explicitly states that these are not fixed identities at all. Depending on the specific cosmic cycle, any of the 3 deities can embody any of the gunas.
So they swap around.
Completely. Vishnu can represent fiery passion. Shiva can represent pure preservation. The roles shift constantly. And in the mortal world, which the text calls Maria Guloka, the realm where you and I live, these 3 shifting gunas are directly governed by the moon.
Wait, the physical moon orbiting the Earth is driving these massive cosmic qualities.
That's what it says.
How does the math work there?
The framework dictates that each of the 3 gunas takes a turn dominating our mortal reality for a period of exactly 6 years.
Okay.
So you live through 6 years of sattva dominance, followed by 6 years of Raj dominance, followed by 6 years of Tam dominance.
And 6 plus 6 plus 6 creates a repeating 18-year lunar nodal cycle.
Exactly.
And this is where the ancient texts crash violently into modern science and modern economics.
The accuracy here is staggering. Today, modern astronomy and earth sciences recognize this exact phenomenon as the 18.6-year lunar nodal cycle.
But wait, what about that 0.6?
Right, you might wonder about that extra 0.6 decimal. The source text actually accounts for this brilliantly. It explains that the zero point 0.6 mathematically represents the 6 Adik Mas, or leap months, that are added into the Hindu lunar calendar over that specific period.
To perfectly synchronize the lunar years with the solar years.
Exactly. It's not just a rough approximation.
The precision is mathematical. But what does this all mean for your daily life? Like, the source claims this isn't just abstract calendar tracking.
Not at all.
This cosmic clock creates unavoidable effects on Earth. We know scientifically it drives an 18.6-year tidal cycle, which shifts ocean currents and global weather patterns, but the text points out it also drives human psychology and behavior.
Yes, it governs the 18.6-year real estate and business cycle.
Which is crazy. Wall Street operates on this exact rhythm of boom, passion, and destruction. Sattva, Raj, and Tam.
The ebb and flow of cosmic energy is literally dictating the economic markets of mortal men. Your 401k is riding the waves of the shifting Gunas.
I mean, that is just wild to think about.
And to cement how vital this 18-year cycle is, the source highlights a stunning literary fact. The great sage Vedavyas, who compiled these ancient texts, specifically divided the singular massive Purana into exactly 18 distinct Puranas.
He divided the text to match the clock.
He did.
6 Puranas dedicated to the Sattva Guna, 6 for Raj, and 6 for Tam. He built the literature to perfectly mirror the gears of this 18-year cycle. It is just brilliant architectural storytelling.
Really brilliant.
Okay, so we've mapped the math of the universe, the 1.5 of the soul, the 3, 6, 9 structure of reality, and the 18-year cycles of time.
Right.
But how does this play out for human beings living on Earth right now? Where are we currently sitting in this massive cycle?
Well, according to the timeline detailed in the texts, you and I are currently living in Kali Yuga.
Okay.
This is widely known as an age of darkness or strife. And in terms of the mathematical states we discussed earlier, Kali Yuga is an era where the Sagan Nirakar state dominates.
And remind us what that means.
That's the state of having distinct attributes, but lacking a pure spiritual form.
Okay, so if the masculine consciousness is supposed to be the active creator, what is happening to those forces in an age of strife?
This is the crux of human existence right now.
Right.
During Kali Yuga, the Purush element, the active masculine cosmic consciousness, essentially sleeps. It goes latent.
Wow.
It is present in the universe, but it is entirely passive. It is not driving the vehicle. With Purush asleep, our reality is left to be heavily governed by the turbulent, constantly shifting waves of the 3 gunas we just talked about.
But if the masculine consciousness is asleep, does that mean no one is actually steering the ship? Are we just completely on cosmic autopilot?
Not autopilot, no. In this era, Prakriti nature herself takes the wheel. She manifests as a profoundly powerful, unified feminine force called Vaishnavi.
Okay.
And Vaishnavi is incredibly dynamic. She wears different masks and serves different functions based entirely on which aspect of the divine she's interacting with at any given moment.
Yeah, the source breaks this down into actionable paths. When she is interacting with the creator aspect, she acts as pure consciousness.
Right.
When she is with the preserver aspect, she acts as Maya, which is the grand illusion, the matrix of reality you were looking at right now.
Exactly.
And when she's with the destroyer aspect, she manifests as raw, transformative power.
And because she is the active force while the cosmic consciousness sleeps, all human pursuit of spiritual connection, what we broadly call yoga, is fundamentally just different methods of interacting with Vaishnavi depending on which mask she is currently wearing.
You know, I was reading this section, and a metaphor just hit me perfectly.
Oh, yeah.
Vaishnavi is essentially the cosmic bouncer.
The cosmic bouncer. I like that. Expand on that.
Well, you can't just stroll up and demand to walk into the VIP room of universal enlightenment, right? You can't just bypass the physical world to reach the sleeping cosmic consciousness.
No, you can't.
Vaishnavi is standing at the door, guarding the club. And she changes her criteria depending on what you want from her. If you want pure knowledge, you have to practice Jnana Yoga. That's your cover charge to get past her consciousness mask. If you want transformative power, your cover charge is Raj Yoga. You have to play her game by her rules to get inside.
That perfectly captures the necessity of engaging with the material world to reach the spiritual one. The source is absolutely adamant about this. You must first satisfy Vaishnavi.
Yeah.
She is the energy, she is the illusion, and therefore, she is the actual path. You cannot ignore the complex math of reality. You have to solve the equation she presents to you.
And what a massive equation it is.
Very massive.
If you are sitting there trying to process everything we've unpacked today, let's just quickly look back at the puzzle we've put together.
Let's do it.
We started with the zero point 0.5 of unformed nature, and we combined it with the 1 of pure cosmic consciousness to get the 1.5 of the living soul, a blueprint that scales all the way up to the creation of galaxies.
We then watched reality structure itself by folding dimensions through the geometric architecture of 3, 6, and 9. The exact numbers Nikola Tesla chased to understand the physical universe.
Then we tracked the 18.6-year lunar cycle that drives our oceans, dictates our Wall Street business cycles, and perfectly mirrors the 18 piranhas themselves.
We did.
And finally, we realized that navigating your life right now, in the era of Kali Yuga, is entirely about understanding the masks of the cosmic bouncer, Vaishnavi.
It is a stunningly comprehensive framework. I mean, it leaves no stone unturned. But it does leave us with one final, deeply unsettling question.
Play it on us.
If the Purush, the active masculine consciousness, is truly asleep right now in this era,
Yeah.
and if our reality is purely a manifestation of navigating the turbulent automatic waves of the three gunas on a fixed 18.6-year repeating loop,
Where does that leave us?
how much of what you feel, what you desire, and what you do is actually your own free will?
Oh.
Are your shifting moods, your sudden passions, and the phases of your life truly your own independent choices? Or are they just the quiet, unstoppable ticking of an ancient 18.6-year cosmic clock?
Are you the one snapping the puzzle pieces together, or are you just a piece being snapped into place? Something for you to ponder until next time.